So you are an actor. You're an actor. You've got a script. You write the script. That's your thoughts. That's what you're thinking. And nobody knows, right? It seems like nobody knows what you're thinking. Maybe it's secret. And you're having these thought forms of something you don't really want to happen necessarily, but you can't help it. You keep thinking, you're picturing the way people are, how they feel about you, how you feel about them. Are they stupid and inconsiderate? Are they shunning you? Is there some kind of thought form, some kind of rehearsal that you're doing with your in this mentalization, using your incredible power of your mind? What are you rehearsing and scripting that you don't actually want to happen? And just for right now, could it be okay to notice those thoughts, to notice those creations, to notice the script? Oh, yeah, this is what I'm thinking about this situation again and again and again. And could you go behind the thought forms? Another way to say that is, could you just ignore them and notice the energy that's there behind them? What is the energy that's always active when these thought forms are flowing? Could you be with that feeling? Could you notice the feeling? Perhaps even welcome that energy. Let it up. And could you make it bigger or just notice it? So the more this energy can come up and get unstuck, the faster it can release. Could you feel it more? Is there more? And could you begin to release that energy? Just let it do what it does. Witness it, feel it, and be open to it leaving or staying. It's a surrender. Would you release it if you could? The ink behind the script. When could you release it? Now, later, never? And there's no rush. This energy may have accumulated for some time. And again, this is the thoughts that I've been having about this situation again and again and again. It's not really what I would choose, though I can't help it. I keep thinking these same things again and again. I'm rehearsing what I don't really want here in the mind. And the body, the world cannot help but respond. So could I go behind the thoughts and pictures, the movie, and notice the energy, the feeling that seems to be there when all these thoughts and pictures are flowing? Is there some energy there? a feeling, and it's okay not to know what it is. And is that feeling, that energy, anywhere in the body? Whether it's the elbow, the chest, the head, the stomach. Could you just check in your field if there's any place that energy seems to be lingering or stuck? And could you be with it? Dive into it. Notice what's there. Get up close to it with your awareness. Could you open up the storage where this energy's been sitting or accumulated and stir it up? Notice what's there. Even dive into it more. What's in the back of the storage? And could you leave the gate open for that accumulated energy and allow it to let go? Might go, it might stay. Could you open the gate and let it go? Yes, no, either one's fine. Would you let it go if you could? And have some new rehearsals on a different frequency, a different energy. The what is that script? What have I been creating? What have you been rehearsing again and again that you don't really want? But like a horror movie, I'm watching it anyway. What's the movie you've been submitting to your world? Because it might get picked up. Could you go behind the thoughts, the pictures, and could you embrace any energy that's there or simply be present with it? Could you allow this energy to move, ignoring the thoughts? Could you just feel the energy without writing a script? And you can't really stop the thoughts, they happen automatically on this frequency. Could you ignore them, not follow them, and focus on the feeling that they flow to, that they're magnetized by? Could you feel the energy, the magnet, ignoring all the particles that are trying to stick to it, the thought forms. And could you surrender? Give it up. Could you allow whatever's happening to happen? Surrender. Would you surrender this energy? Give it up. And yes or no is fine. You never have to surrender. Though when could you surrender? Now, later, never? And just witness what the energy does, giving it up. And what are we doing when we're rehearsing? Can you be aware of you're rehearsing the undesirable, what you don't actually want? And could you go behind those thought forms and notice the energy? Is there any wanting there? Perhaps wanting control, though it could be any wanting and any feeling. It's not necessary to label it. And could you allow that wanting? Maybe it's wanting control, or just allow that energy, that feeling to be there, ignoring the script. Could you want more wanting control or want more of that feeling? Really bring it up. Could you dig up any more that's there? Could you allow this energy to be there without modifying it, without explaining it? It's feeling the feeling that's there for you. And could you let go of that energy, that feeling? Would you let go if you could and be free to write something different or just enjoy what is in service? When could you watch the movie without writing it? Though there can be some wanting to control things. Could you notice with this situation if there's any wanting? Maybe wanting control, security, or approval, separation. And whatever's there for you, could you welcome it? Where is that sitting? Where has it been stuck or accumulated? Maybe in your solar plexus, maybe in your leg, could be anywhere. Energy can get stuck anywhere. And could you dive into it, stir it up? Whatever feeling's there for you, ignoring the attempts to explain it, the thoughts, could you just feel it? Could you open up to whatever seems to be happening energetically? That feeling, wherever it is, whatever it is, could you feel it just for now? And could you release that energy, whatever it is, from wherever it is? Could you let it move, dissipate, dissolve? All it takes is allowing, and you can allow it or not. Would you let it dissipate? Let it dissolve. Release it if you could. When could you? Anytime's fine. Now, later, never. Just opening, allowing. The releasing actually happens on its own. And no matter how true that story or script seemed, it wasn't actually what you wanted, was it? Like if you could write anything, you wouldn't have written that consciously. Well, maybe there's been a shift in energy. Maybe not. Though, if you could write anything in this scenario, if you could create with thought forms anything, anything at all in this scenario, what would be something that seems preferable or even enjoyable? Would everyone be winning? Would you be happy to be where you are, doing what you're doing? Would everything be okay or even great? And could you consciously now write a different ending, a different scene. And it might not be so easy. Is there any resistance to the energy behind that new scene? Is there any resisting creating what you want, what you choose, what you prefer? And could you resist that? Just allow yourself to resist being happy, everything working out, whatever the result you would create consciously is, and the feelings that go with it. Could you resist? Could you resist the energy positive with creating something you actually like? Why haven't you been creating on this frequency already? Maybe there's some resistance to this beautiful movie, this happy scene, this harmony. Could you allow that resistance, refusal, denial, pushing away, stuffing down? And could you set that resistance free? Would you set that resistance free and set a positive frequency free at the same time to flow through your creation, your awareness? Anything can happen. Could you take a guess at what you'd love to happen in this situation? Just a guess. What would be the best possible scenario here for myself or for myself and everyone involved? How would that feel? What would I be feeling in that scenario? Maybe joy, love, peace. And could you notice any resistance to the frequency of something best possible? Would you resist it more? It's like this refusal of all the feelings you might like and all the things you might like. It's like a trying to prove it's not going to happen, pushing it away. Could you allow that resistance or aversion to an outcome preferred or desired? And could you drop that resistance? You never have to. It's just an option. Yes, no. It's okay either way. Takes what it takes. Would you drop the resistance to a positive scene in your movie? When could you drop the resistance and script and watch a scene you like? Or just watch it unfold, emerge, manifest for you, even if you don't write it. Oh, things done right, happily serving, being welcomed in. How would you like this to go? What does it feel like? Is there any love? Is there any harmony, any oneness, or even just acceptance with what's unfolding? And could you notice any resistance to the positive frequencies of creation, of script writing, of filming? Could you resist those positive scenes, words, pictures? Mm-mm. No, that doesn't happen. A holding back, a pushing away, a resistance, an aversion to what you would actually like to happen. Could you resist more? And could you let it go? Would you let this resistance go and write with the most beautiful ink your script? Create with the best props, that godly CGI? And so there may still be some energy that's counter. There may still be some of those old scenes, that old energy. There may still be some resistance to a new scene, a higher energy, a higher frequency. Though, are you able in this moment at all to put yourself in the scene you're consciously choosing and feel what that feels like? Or even if you can't see it, could you feel what you'd like to feel? When that happens now, what would you like to feel? And could you notice that that doesn't come from the screen, from watching the movie out there, the scene, that it comes from you? And could you give yourself what you prefer to feel? And you don't have to. And it may actually bring up more to release, more counter energy, though, as best you can, could you give yourself what you prefer to feel? That it seems like when this happens, you'll feel that. And maybe imagining it happening helps you to feel it. But it's imagined. The feeling is here and now. Could you give yourself some more of that feeling, that frequency from wherever that's stored? And could you release any attachment, any clinging to that energy? If you could give it to yourself at any time, if there's an infinite store of it, could you release any attachment to this positive vibration, this positive energy? Any clinging to it, wanting to keep it here? Could you release and allow that energy to flow throughout your creation? Do what it does. And how would you like it to go? What's a fun outcome here for you and everyone involved? What's a loving outcome? And it doesn't need to be any particular way to be loving. But that energy of fun or love, of things working out, could you feel it now? And there might be resistance, there might be counter energy. That's okay. Could you consciously set that aside and see what this positive energy feels like just for now? Could you feel it before it happens? And from that feeling, there might be a different movie. Because if you're feeling good, you might not have any interest in seeing the documentary of suffering. Could you allow yourself to feel so good that you go to a feel good movie? Forget that kid stuff. You don't have to. You can watch whatever you want. Could you release any attachment, any clinging to any energy at all, which you're aware of in this moment? Could you surrender control just for right now and let the energy flow and see what the movie looks like today? Watch what happens.